Hello, I thought I would change rooms and change the lighting a little bit to find out if that's better or not. So you let me know. I mean, the walls are a different color. They are a light color, but I know that you can't really see the different or see which color it is. Anyway, so I thought I would discuss some more words and that are confused or misunderstood. It's a V hand shape, and they just go opposite, misunderstood. And the first set is chronic and acute. And so someone may ask you that question, or a doctor may ask that question. Is this acute pain or chronic pain? Well, acute is just a sudden, it popped up, onset, sudden onset. And chronic, and sometimes it's really long term and you're going, well, it's been going on or it's every day. But was it an acute where it just showed up all of a sudden? Or is this chronic where that pain has been going on for a long time? And so that's the difference, is the time factor. So acute is like all of a sudden it showed up, and chronic is it's been going on for a long time. So that's the first set. And then the second set is really interesting because it's disinterested and uninterested. And you're thinking, what is the difference and who cares? Well, if someone is saying, like, for example, like if it's on TV for like a news or a speech or something, the disinterested means they don't have a stake in it. They're not involved. I don't personally have involvement. In other words, I don't have money on it. I don't work for that company, that kind of stuff. I'm just interested. And the uninterested is, of course, where you're not interested or you don't care, right? So you would say, like if it's uninterested, I say, oh, I'm not interested or I don't care. But disinterest means I personally am not involved in that. I don't work for that company. So, it's not that you don't care, but you don't have, like, for example, a long time ago when Enron and the people that worked there had an interest in it because they had their retirement involved. So, like, I didn't work for Enron, so I could have a disinterested. Oh, I'm personally not involved. I mean, I care about what's going on, what's up, that fraud, because people I knew worked there, and of course it could be happening to other people. But that's the disinterest. The disinterest is that you're not personally involved. The is like, I'm not interested or I don't care, that type of thing. So those are our 4 words. I know this was a short video, but sometimes I would like to kind of switch it up, right? Have a long and a short and a long and a short. But I think it's important as I listen to the different words, I think it's important that we understand it so we can tell our friends more clearly. Like I said, if you're not interested in becoming an interpreter, but you want to communicate with the deaf, you still want to make sure that whatever you hear or you're reading, that you're able to say what's correct. Because they may ask you that, or may have some closed captioning on a news or some type of informational or speech or whatever, and they may say, I had a disinterest in that stock. That doesn't mean that they don't care or they're not interested in it. It means that they personally did not invest money. So you can say I'm personally not involved, but it just depends, right? If it's that if it's a stock, say, oh, I didn't invest money. I don't know who did that. I hope they didn't, or whatever the case may be if it went down. So that's the disinterest, where it's not you're personally involved with it in some form or fashion. But the uninterested is like you just don't care. You're just not interested in that, But like, for example, gas prices, you care about that, but I don't have any invest money like in Exxon, Mobil, or the other gas companies. So that's the difference between that one. And then for the medical, the acute and the chronic. And so that's kind of funny because one time I had some pain that it was kind of a sudden, or maybe it was a slow startup, and it continued for 7 months. But when it first started, someone asked me, was that acute or was it chronic? And I thought, well, it recently started, but it just continues every day, all day. And it did that for like 7 months. So I had broken my my sacrum. I'm not sure if I've told y'all that yet, but anyway, so I had broken it. It's healed. I still have pain in my right hand side whenever it's going to rain or the weather changes. But so that was kind of a it's like, well, it's acute and chronic. It hasn't been going on for like for years. So that was my kind of confusion. It's like, well, and it wasn't like the sudden onset awful, awful. It was sometimes kind of a slow, oh man, that hurts, and it continued, and it did become worse. So that's why I was like, So you might want to, if you hear someone say, I've had this pain, you can ask them, oh, did it suddenly start up, or have you been having that for years? And they may say, oh, about 2 weeks ago. So you see, you don't have to be concerned about that word acute or chronic. So just kind of think about it, and when you ask questions of your deaf friends, it's not gonna hurt their feelings. It's not. You're just wanting to know more information. So, like for example, like if you drive them to the doctor, you ask the doctor, goes, well, she was saying that it's been going on for like 2 weeks. Is that right? And they're going, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully they'll have an interpreter there, and the interpreter can clear up any of those kind of questions or confusions. So anyway, practice and think about the things that people say, and I will see you later. Bye.